Good evening. I'm Jan Lancaster, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Archdiocese of New Orleans. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I have as my guest Michael Jambaluka, President of De La Salle High School. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, good. Well, good. You know, I've visited De La Salle, and I love going to De La Salle. It just has a very special feel about it when you walk in the door, one of welcoming, the true feel of a Catholic school. And so why don't you tell us some of the things that you think you attribute that to, and just maybe some of the service that you all do in the community?
Well, you hit on something important in mentioning how you feel welcome when you walk in the front doors, because going back to the founding of the institution itself, St. John Baptist de La Salle back in the late 1600s had the building of community as an integral part of what the Brothers of the Christian Schools did. And so that establishment of community is something that we do on a daily basis, and we value that on a daily basis. So it makes my heart feel good to know that that is something that you actually felt when you walked in the door. Now, there are some things that we're doing in terms of community. Something that we are very proud of is a recent event that we had back in early December as part of our One Book for Social Justice project. Our students and our faculty read the book, I Am Malala. This was a book that was written by a Pakistani young woman. It's probably a story that most people recall, but she desperately wanted an education. The Taliban was very vocal in trying to ensure that she not receive that education, but she pushed forward anyway to the point that she was shot in an attempt to kill her. And she eventually wrote a book about it. She went to the United Nations. And we wanted to do something along with just having our students and faculty read this book. We wanted our students to have a true feel and experience of what it would mean for girls who are a part of our coeducational atmosphere not to have the ability to attend classes. So one day in early December, we separated our girls from the boys, and we had them go to the gym area. They didn't know what was going on. The boys didn't know what was going on. Only the teachers knew what was happening. And we had the girls doing something in the gym to demonstrate the importance of their being there. But they were a little concerned at first, thinking that perhaps they were in trouble. And the boys were allowed to go to their next period class after lunch without the girls present. And of course, they were wondering what was happening. Eventually, the boys and the girls came back together again in an assembly that we had, where we had some outside speakers talk about women's issues, talk about the importance of coeducational education. It was a powerful, powerful event, and something that we are still feeling the lasting effects of. Very, very proud of our school community for doing that.
Wow, that must have been just transformational learning.
And it's still going on. We still have another event planned at some point in February where we will actually have some further assessment of the experience that the students had.
And what do you think the reactions of the boys were when they came back together, when the girls weren't there?
Well, they were wondering, where the girls were, and they had that experience for at least part of the lunch period and the next class period. But when everybody came back together again, it was simply another reinforcement of the special thing that we have going at De La Salle. It's truly, to use a New Orleans term, a gumbo. We are socioeconomically diverse. We are racially diverse. We are co-ed. We have learning styles, that across the spectrum, and we truly believe that it is a strength that we have, and something that truly exemplifies what St. John Baptist de La Salle intended when he started with the Brothers of the Christian Schools back in the 17th century. And
like I said, when I've gone to De La Salle, I feel that. You can feel the presence of De La Salle and just his teachings and the way he was so devoted to every student.
That's correct.
And in the education realm, and really nurturing the full student. That was so very important to him. So let me ask you, your first year here as president, what do you enjoy most about this position?
Well, it really is a privilege to be in this position. I am so grateful to the board of directors for giving me this opportunity It's a charism that I learn more and more about, because it's not something that I was brought up in, which I really enjoyed because I'm a person coming in with fresh eyes, with new eyes. So this charism that has been around for a while, perhaps people that have been there for a while take this wonderful thing for granted. But as the new kid on the block, I get to see it, for the first time, really like a kid on Christmas morning, opening up, all these great presents. But I get to witness the wonderful things that are going on at the school on a daily basis from a unique perspective. And as president, it really is my role to oversee that the apostolic nature of the school is carried forward, that the community aspect of the school is carried forward, that the pedagogical nature of the school is carried forward, and that the business end, I wish it weren't a business at some level, but it is. But ultimately the buck stops with me, with making sure that all of those realities that coexist are balanced in such a way that we can continue to be what we need to be for our students going forward.
Well, let me ask you this. How, with all those different roles, how do you see yourself spending the majority of your time?
Well, certainly as a new person, I love building relationships. I'm passionate about being with people, about helping them to grow, and I have this wonderful charism that anchors our experience. So as a new person, I have been spending a great deal of my time literally making time to be with parents, with alumni, with faculty, with students. Of course, I love being at all the events, and it's important for me as the president to be able to communicate, with our alumni, with our benefactors. If I don't know what's happening, if I shut myself up in the office for too long, then I can't tell our story. And we have a wonderful story to tell. And ultimately, when it comes to our benefactors, it's my job to ensure that we deserve the generosity of our benefactors, and we do.
Well, believe it or not, it's almost time for us to go. That time flew by, but we talked a little bit about some neat things that were going on at De La Salle. Is there anything else that you would like to add? You said you had a few initiatives. Is there anything else you would like to add about some things that are happening at De La Salle?
A few things. One thing that we just finished doing was a training for our faculty and some students. We've been designated as the only high school in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas as a no place for hate by the Anti-Defamation League. This is something that we're very excited about. It's something that's very important to us, that we have the type of school that has already taken initiatives. We've already been identified as a school that does certain things to lessen bias and hatred and bigotry in our school. And because of additional things that we've done, we've received this designation. We're very, very proud of that. We're also very proud of some unique programs, that we have going on at the school. We have ACE, which is a national program. It is an architecture, construction, and engineering program that our students are involved with. Of course, we're very excited about our enrollment, which is very healthy. We continue to see an uptick in that, and that is because people have come to understand what a special place De La Salle is across the board.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, and Michael, on a personal note, I just want to thank you for your ministry and everything you've done for Catholic education. Worked with you many years. You were my son Will's principal at Jesuit, and then I had the pleasure of working with you at Christ the King as well. And now seeing you at De La Salle and the excellent job you're doing there, I just want to say thank you for that. And just the difference you've made in the lives of so many throughout your years in Catholic education.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you for what you've done as superintendent. You've done a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. And we will be right back.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to Our Schools, Our Future. I have with me Glenn Gennaro, Interim Associate Superintendent of the High Schools. Glenn, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And I also want to thank you for coming on board in the Office of Catholic Schools for this year. As you know, Jack Truxillo oversaw the high schools and did a wonderful job for many years. And he took another position, and you offered to come on board, and we thank you for that.
Offered is kind of a stretch.
Well, you said yes, so we greatly
It's fun.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. It's been a good year.
And I know the principals have enjoyed having you on board.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Now, I wanted to have you come today to talk about the high school application process. Often it causes anxiety. I know it did when my kids were going through the process, and it just for families. So I thought it would be a good idea to have you here to just explain some of the process and talk parents through this. So let me ask you, first of all, is it too late to apply for a Catholic high school?
The initial process is closed. Last Saturday was the application day, or the testing day in the high schools. And that's really the first round of applications. Those letters of acceptance will go out the weekend of Mardi Gras, Friday after Mardi Gras. After that, anyone can apply any place again, as long as the schools have openings. Mm-hmm. So it's not too late. You missed the first round, and there are people calling this week who are panicked. But there is another opportunity, and there should be plenty of time for people to get their records together, make good decisions, and move on.
Okay, so there will be other opportunities to apply then?
Yes, as long as there's space in the schools they're applying.
All right, well, good, and always reach out to the school.
Always to the school first. You know, we get calls in our office of, I want my child to go someplace. Well, we're not directly involved in making those choices. We can help the schools if they need us. But parents should always call the school first. And then, of course, the elementary principal can be a great resource in helping you to say, this is the right school or not the right place. Right. Because all of our schools have their uniqueness. And it's important you match your child with the right school for them, which may not have been the right school for their brother or sister.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And if a student applies to one school, but now wants to change his or her school, what do they do if they want to change their choice?
Everything is locked in now until they get their letter of acceptance or refusal. If they get accepted, we would certainly recommend they call the school that accepted them and make that place available, and then they can apply to any place that may have space for them.
Now, I know we talked a little earlier before the show that we were talking about students who maybe missed the application day for one reason or another. What, at this point, if the application day was missed at the school that they had initially put down as their choice, what should they do at this point?
They're going to hear from the school if they did not show up. Mm-hmm. And each of the schools have their own policies. Some will have a second testing day. Most of them do. I know with the bad weather in the North Shore, some people had trouble traveling with the icy roads. The schools will make allowances if someone was sick or couldn't get in for transportation reasons. If you applied by the deadline and you're in the pool, they'll take care of you. Our schools are very good at taking care of our kids.
But as we said earlier, they should always reach out to the school.
Always contact the school.
Yeah. All right, now let me ask you this. Some of the things that comes a lot in our office, and it goes through you on the high school level sometimes initially, that would be about student needing financial assistance. Right. So please tell us about how does that work at the high school level?
Again, the first line of communication should be with the principal. People want to apply now for financial assistance and haven't been accepted at the schools yet. And I think one of the decisions that was made years ago is we don't talk to people about their financial needs until they are accepted, so that is not taken into consideration, whether you can pay or not. I think our schools really try hard to help those people who can come. So first they should apply to their school and see what's available. Most schools have process and have some kind of assistance. We also have several programs through the Archdiocese that you've been instrumental in expanding. So once you process through your school, if there's still not enough help, either through direct grants or through work study or through some of the state scholarship programs, then there would be a contact to our office and we would see if there was still some additional need that we would try to fill. But first, get accepted. Right. We always get the question of, well, what if I get accepted and I can't afford it? That really shouldn't be a question. We can figure out a way to help you attend. I don't know of any school who is turning away people who can't pay if they're making a real effort to do what the family can do.
And then one of the things, while we're talking about this, we have the Champions of Catholic Education in the Archdiocese of New Orleans, which is one of the venues we use to find tuition assistance for families. And part of that is funded by a second collection.
Which is coming up soon.
It's coming up soon, so I'm glad that you brought this up. This collection is January 29th in all of our churches. So at Mass, and then also you can donate online in the Office of Catholic Schools. And that money, 100% of it, goes directly to funding tuition for students in need. So we really would ask parents to try, and parents, grandparents, and really anyone that can give money to the Champions of Catholic Education to please do so.
And some people look for opportunities to sponsor in-need students that are not in their own families. And I think that's one of the things that givers need to understand that you mentioned. 100% of this money goes to kids. There's no administrative fees, there's no processing fees. And I think you've been successful in raising some money from people who maybe didn't have children of their own or their grandchildren are grown, but who valued their own Catholic education, they value their parish school, and have wanted to reach out to others. And I think that program has grown a lot over the past couple of years, and will continue to grow as it becomes more and more aware, people become more and more aware of it.
Well, you know, and the mission of Catholic education is to instill in people the importance of living a life of service in the name of the faith, in the name of our Catholic faith. And Glenn, you have done that very well.
Thank you.
So, and once again, you know, I thank you for being here, and I thank you for your many years in Catholic education.
We don't have to talk about how many. It's always good to be.
Well, I mean, just your years at many of the elementary schools, the founding principal of Pope John Paul, and then being in the Office of Catholic Schools. Once again, you've done it all. You're just so highly regarded and well respected in the Catholic community, and we thank you for giving this year to us in assisting our high schools.
Thanks for the opportunity and for your friendship.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
I need help finding a doctor.
PACE.
I needed help with my medication.
PACE.
I needed help getting around.
The Shirley Landry Benson PACE Center is a place that helps seniors remain in their homes providing the care they need. If you or a family member are over 55 years old, you may be eligible for benefits offered by PACE. For more information, contact us at 504-835-0006. PACE, caring for those who cared for us.
Welcome back. I have Dr. Kenneth St. Charles with me, and he is the new president of St. Augustine High School. And you know, there's a lot I want to talk about your background and everything, but it's Mardi Gras time in New Orleans. So we have to get to the Marching 100.
All right, very good.
Everyone's excited about that. They love when they see St. Aug in the parade.
Absolutely.
So how is it with the Marching 100? What's going on with them?
Well, you know, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I actually was a member of the band. I'm a graduate of St. Augustine High School. I
1981, right?
1981, and performed in the band for 4 years, and fond memories of Mardi Gras, fond memories of, you know, the excitement that people had, and when they saw the band coming. And I have to say that people still have that excitement. You know, the band has a wonderful tradition and legacy of precision and discipline, and the young men take a lot of pride in making the crowd feel like they are seeing something special, and it is important.
They are.
And they are. And you know, this is the 50th anniversary of the Marching 100 marching in the Rex Parade. Back in 1967, the Rex organization invited the band to be the first black band to be in their parade. And we have maintained a great relationship. So this year is special for the band. They will Rex has recognized the band and acknowledged that accomplishment. And, you know, going back 50 years to now, it still means a lot to us to be not only in their parade, but in every parade in the city. And the band is in such high demand that we have to sort of sometimes pick and choose, but it's special. It's really special.
And they've been asked to go outside of the city.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've marched in Mace's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We've marched in Rose Bowl parade. And I told my friends that one of the benefits of being the new president of St. Augustine is I get to walk in the parades if I so choose. And my first day on the job, I asked the band director if he would allow me to walk with the band, and he said, "Sure, if you know, the new president, if you choose to, feel free." So,
and you can always invite the superintendent
absolutely,
to walk with you. I mean, you know, what can I say?
It's a special time for the city, and we, as an institution, St. Augustine High School, are so very happy to be part of that New Orleans tradition.
I even saw the 100 at Rouse's in a commercial one time.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Now, coming back to St. Augustine,
yes.
now as the president.
Yes.
Tell us about
yes.
that. How does that feel? You were the class of 81.
Yes.
And so tell us just what is that like coming back and all that entails? What are your thoughts on this?
You know, it was a great honor for me to be recruited to come back. I was working out of state at a college, and when I received the call to consider applying, I thought about it for about 2 seconds and said, absolutely, I will apply. It really has meant a lot to me, and it means a lot to me because, you know, the first thing I did, my first day on the job, I wanted to have an opportunity to address the students, the current students. So they arranged for a 8 a.m. session in the gymnasium where I could speak to the students. And I saw them walking into the gym, and it brought back these fond memories of, you know, the pride in being a student and the discipline. And as I spoke, you know, I'm this, you know, administrator that they could care very little about. They were there to start their school day, but they were paying attention, and they were not being, you know, I really felt good. And I knew on my first day that I had made the right decision to come back.
That's wonderful.
And then I had a chance to walk through the facility and talk to the faculty. And the faculty has changed since I was there as a student, but of course, the pride is still there, and the memories are still there, and the mission is still there. I mean, I still see young men who want to be the best of what they can be, and for me to be a part of that growth for them is really special.
So how do you think St. Augustine influenced you in your life?
You know, I went to St. Aug at a time when students of color were really starting to have opportunities to go to many different schools. But we felt very committed. I mean, the Josephite priests and brothers who started the school, they instilled in us a sense of we could be whatever we want. We could compete and be competitive with any school in the nation. The Catholic values that was instilled then are still being instilled now. You know, it really is a special place. And, you know, I just can't explain enough how very meaningful it is to be, you know, a graduate.
Well, and St. Augustine is now celebrating their 65th year?
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Wow. And that was in 1951?
Yes.
So what are some of the major accomplishments that you think the school has seen over that period?
You know, when we started in 1951, the Archdiocese, the Josephites decided that this school was needed. The school was needed to really make a difference in the lives of young men and to teach the values of Catholic education. The accomplishments have been numerous since the school was founded. I mentioned earlier about integrating the Rex organization. You know, we helped to integrate a number of different institutions, some athletic, some academic. What people don't realize about St. Augustine is that it's still a very relatively young school. And we have, the one thing that is so encouraging to me, the major accomplishment, is that men have graduated from that school and gone on to be leaders in their chosen professions, great family members, great family leaders.
Well, that's an important characteristic at St. Augustine.
Absolutely. Alumni come back to the school and they really want to make sure that they are paying it forward, that they are helping other students. And that among itself is probably our greatest accomplishment, is that people remember where they came from and want to still be helpful.
Now, could you tell us a little bit about your definition of leadership?
Mm-hmm. You know, I was in the military, and we were taught as to be a good leader, you have to really want to help people, but help them to the point where they want to follow your example. You know, I think being a good leader means that you care for people, that you know what the mission is that you are trying to accomplish, that you really are striving to make the team better. And, you know, all leaders know that the weakest link is the thing that could hurt you the most. So I think a great definition of being a leader is building that teamwork, that team camaraderie, where you don't let people fail. And I think what we do at St. Augustine is we don't let kids fail. We work with them. We get kids from different economic, socioeconomic levels. We get kids with certain needs. We don't let people fail. We try to work with as many kids as we can. And I think that's the definition of a good leader, is that you nurture and take care of your people.
Well, you know, I think you bring up such excellent points, and believe it or not, our time is almost over.
Okay,
but
right,
before we end it, I really
Okay.
want to just ask you, what initiatives really excite you as you look forward in your future as president of St.
Sure.
Augustine?
The biggest initiative that excites me is the opportunity to have more students to come to the school. You know, after Katrina, we had some challenges. We had to, you know, make some renovations. But what excites me the most is that we will have more students. We will provide the opportunity for students to be successful. And we're celebrating our 65th year. What excites me is that I know with the work that we are doing, we will be here for another 65 years and longer.
Well, thank you so much. And, you know, I want to say, when I came to the reception, when they were announcing you as the new president,
Yes.
the excitement that I felt and saw in the room was just invigorating. So I want to wish you the best of luck. I want to offer you my support. And if there's anything I can do, please feel free to call me, and I'll be touching base with you. But once again, thank you for saying yes, and
Okay.
thank you for leading this ministry in Catholic education.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you for being with us tonight.